Okay. All righty. Well, we've lost the other one, so that's all right. I don't know, maybe technical issues. Okay. All right. So just to firstly start off, my name's Craig. I run a small family-run digital marketing agency based on the Gold Coast. So we've done a couple of webinars with various different strategies around social media. Now we mainly focus on social media, but our whole game is to help help small businesses and individuals out as much as we can. Um, so righto. So what I'll do is just share my screen. So what we're going to run through tonight is on organic marketing strategies. So basically, pretty much like organic marketing, you got a difference between organic and paid marketing, as we all know, and there's a lot of people that struggle with paid marketing, paid advertising. So there's a lot of strategies around organic, obviously unpaid. And that's what we'll sort of pretty much run through a few different points and key strategies for that tonight. So pretty much like, as I said, organic marketing, it is basically unpaid. It's free. It's a free method of getting yourself out there, advertising, leveraging social media, the various different platforms, and what the platform, like all the different features of the platforms. Now, it all still comes back to content resonating, like having content that resonates with your target audience, your idea, like your niche audience, because that's going to make or break your organic marketing strategies. If your content isn't relevant, which I think we'll cover in a few down the like focus on a bit more down the track in the slides here. If your content's not relevant to your industry, or if you're targeting the wrong audience, it's gonna affect your organic strategies. So it all comes down to a few key points. Now, organic marketing is actually a slower method, but it is more genuine and authentic. So the key factors around organic marketing strategies are authenticity and trust. Now, when you're not paying for ads, like when you're not getting like the paid ads always come up as sponsored ads or sponsored posts on social media. And a lot of people feel invaded. Like, I don't know why, but they do. Like when there's a sponsored post keeps popping up on their feed, they're like, oh, why? Like this is just scammy, spammy, however they want to put it. But doing organic methods, it builds authenticity and trust amongst your followers and amongst other people. It's all content driven. So, as I say, obviously you're not paying for ads, so you're not pushing paid ads out. So it's all based on your content. As I said, how your content is, if it's relevant and appealing to your followers and people looking at your page. Engagement and interaction, all bases on that too. Like you've got to do the work for it by engaging and interacting with other people, other businesses. It's a matter of, we will touch on that shortly, but yeah, being active, and it only takes 15, 20 minutes a night, 15 minutes or 15, 20 minutes a day, really. And you can start building a following that way. It's like I said, it's a slower method, but it is a very effective and more authentic method. Long-term strategy, as I said, it takes a lot longer to. It's not a fast track way of building your following. It takes a longer time to do it authentic. Organic. Sorry. Um, Algorithm optimization. Now, that comes back with the interaction and engagement. It actually boosts algorithms on your pages, and it will actually, so like Facebook and Instagram, will start pushing your content out more to people in that organic way. And all it takes is just a lot of interaction. And as I said, the interaction doesn't take long each day. Obviously, it's cost effective because you're not paying for campaigns. Content distribution, that sort of comes back with the algorithm optimization that sort of distribute. The more you can get your algorithms running, it will distribute the content a lot more. Sustainability is a lot more sustainable because of the authenticity side of it, and it's not pushing paid ads in front of people. And it is still very measurable. You can still measure your analytics on how your content is reaching people. We'll cover that a bit more too. Now, choosing the right platform on social media. This is a big one that is sort of people. Like I've spoken to a lot of people over the years. Some people will say, be present on every single platform. Now, we disagree with that because your target audience or your type of business, like your target audience might not be on some platforms, but your business might not do well on some platforms. Like TikTok's a big one that people go, oh no, I don't think TikTok's right for me. The only way you're going to know is to actually try. If you haven't tried being present on platforms, on the social media platforms, our advice is get onto them all and see what works, see what comes of it. Because you never know if you never try, the old saying. So obviously the main ones, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, they're the main more popular platforms these days where a lot of interaction. YouTube, yes, it's very popular for, and as I say, we all know it's video based. LinkedIn is a very B2B type of platform. Is still very effective, depending on the clientele. Some people, LinkedIn is their number one platform because of the clientele that they've got. And obviously websites. If you've got a website, yes, you can drive traffic from your social media pages to your website all the time. Facebook community groups. Now, this is a big one with your organic marketing campaigns. Now, several years ago, we lived in rural New South Wales, like in a small country town, and we didn't have the volume of Facebook community groups there. So we didn't really understand that side of things. We now on the Gold Coast, and when we moved to the Gold Coast, there is I'd say hundreds and hundreds of Facebook community groups just on the Gold Coast. So leveraging the Facebook community groups is a brilliant way for organic marketing strategies these days. Some people will say, I've heard people say to me, but I put posts up there and no one gets in touch with me. Well, it's comes back to the thing that organic is not a sure thing. Nothing's a sure thing with social media. But organic is the one that if the more people see you, the more they're going to think of you. Now, one particular person that actually mentioned that to me, but I put posts up and they don't see me. I don't hear anything. Well, they actually found me through social media, through the through the Facebook community groups. So they do work. I've actually picked up a lot of some clientele through the Facebook community groups. I've had people recommend me through the Facebook community groups. So it does work. So leveraging them is a very good one these days for your organic marketing. Now, depending on the type of business you own, you can even have your own Facebook group. We do have one, and it is it's more designed for any business. There's no strict criteria for it. It's just a place where we have opened up so businesses can come in. People can be in there without a business if they're in business, and we try and get people to interact, like everyone to interact, put their business in there, and so people can follow, support, and all that. So if you would like to know our group, like the group, and join it, there's no problem. I can let you know that for sure. I can actually give you the details. I can shoot it back to you in an email or message, whatever. There's no, obviously free to join. There's a community group. Sorry, not a community group. It's a public group, but it's our group. So, where are we up to here? Okay, so with the content strategies and the content itself. Now, I've covered this in some previous webinars I've done, and I think I see Tracy's in here. I mean, she was on one of the webinars I did around this sort of thing. Content is basically, well, as the graphic there says, content is king. Now it is, because the quality of the content, the type of content, is what's going to make or break any strategy, whether it's paid or organic. So if you actually copy and paste images from the internet, it's not going to be a good way, because as they are changed in size, like the quality of them isn't the greatest so far. Like to start with, being on the internet and you copy and pasting them, they'll come out like grainy, blurry. If you don't size them right for the platforms, when you look at if you ever look at posts on a page, Instagram really shows this up big time. Is you'll see a post and the edges are cut off and you can't make out what the whole thing says. It's because they're not sized right. So the quality of content is number one, and the sizing of it is number two. And relevance is obviously number three. It's got to be relevant to your industry, relevant to your followers. Now, obviously, the types of content, we've got various different types. You've got static posts, which are just basically your still images. So your graphics, photos, all that. Obviously, stories, reels, we know they're all they're videos, so your videos as well. Infographics, they're more for Facebook, Instagram. They're like where you've got a lot of information on the actual image. I don't use infographics very much personally. I'd prefer to just stick with static posts, and I try and limit the. I don't like to overkill my images with written copy on them, because it sort of takes away what the whole thing's about. Um, Written copy, just written copy in itself. No images, no photos. You can have just written copy in your post. Well, you can't on Instagram. Sorry, you've got to have obviously, yeah, you've got to have an image there for Instagram. TikTok, well, that's all video based, so you can't just have written copy. But depending on the platform, obviously, Facebook, you can have just written copy on its own, or you can actually write the copy in where the image goes and have a coloured background, depending on how much copy you've got written in there. Those sort of things are good. But as I said, it comes back to relevance as well. So, and like what works and what doesn't. Look, it's all trial and error. It still comes back down to trial and error for your industry and for your followers. What does work is throwing in like engagement posts where it gets your clientele to interact. So posts such as this and that, polls, things like that. It will cause your followers to interact. That's what you want to do. Them interact with you by commenting or voting on a poll. As I said, these aren't like going to be bang, bang, bang. You're going to have heaps of people commenting or interacting, but throwing them in here and there are great strategies for your organic organic methods. Also, any videos, having captions on them, like your subtitles. So basically, what you're saying in your video, have it popping up on the screen, because videos are a big thing. If you do videos, you know that you get a lot more views than like a static post. But majority of people will look at watch a video with the sound off. So that's where like having the subtitles is brilliant. Now there are various different apps that you can use. It's and again, it comes down to trial and error. What resonates with you, what you find easy. Like there's various different ones. Like you can use. There's ones that auto generate the subtitles, and there's ones where you can just type it in. So it's just a matter of trial and error and finding what works for you and what you find easy. So where are we going now? So audience engagement. Now this is a big thing with organic marketing. Engaging with your audience. Now, this is what I said before. You can sit down 15, 20 minutes a day is a good way to engage with your audience. So basically, Instagram, it's good. It's easy on Instagram. If you sit there, if you're on Instagram, you can do this on Facebook as well. It's easy done. And then on TikTok too. But easiest way, like say, for example, you sit down and you're on Instagram and you go into your followers, right? And go into their followers, have a look at their followers. And if there's any there that resonate with you, jump into their pages and just start off, just like 3 or 4 of their most recent posts. But only if they're more like recent posts are like recent. If they're like 6, 12 months ago, there's probably no point because they're probably not active on there. If there's a post in someone's page that really resonates with you, or you think, oh wow, that's awesome, leave a comment as well. That gets people engaged. That'll cause them to actually engage with you then. I've picked up a lot of followers on Instagram that way, just by sitting down 10, 15 minutes here and there of a night time. Not every night. I could do it every night if I wanted, but some days I just couldn't be bothered sitting there and doing it over night time. But while you're sitting there watching telly, having, finishing dinner, whatever. And look, you only have to jump in 15 minutes. And as I said, jump into your followers and check out their followers. You might not find any that resonate with you, but you might find a few. And then just start doing that, and you will start actually getting people noticing you and responding to you. And then if people actually, when you notice on your pages, you can do the same thing on Facebook, go through people's business pages and that, and do exactly the same thing. When people actually send you a comment, put a comment on any of your posts or engage on any of your posts, if you actually respond to that, especially if they leave a comment, always respond to it. And you only have to respond to it like even with an emoji or a couple of emojis or a couple of words. It's no biggie. Just as long as you respond to it, that is very valuable, and that will actually start the interaction between you and that person. Mentions and messages. Well, look, if you put a post up and you think it might be relevant to someone, even it's someone that you're following or one of your followers, mention them in it, and that will actually then show up on their followers. And these are just actually ways of engaging, like getting people to come in and notice you a bit more. With messages, look, it's just a case like, okay, you might see someone on Facebook, because Facebook's probably an easy one. Message, like Facebook is one of the biggest ones that we're all on. It's one of the most popular platforms, especially here in Australia. Just sending people messages here and there, like especially like if you see something, just if you see, what's a good example? All right, somebody's looking for a certain type of industry, like a certain type of business. Just bear with me. Can I? Hang on. Sorry, I'm just trying to work out how to mute. Jim, can I just get you to hang on? No, I think I might be able to work. Is it? Okay, can I just? Sorry, that's it. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. Yes, where was he? Yeah, just sending people messages. If like if you, it's another way. It's probably not as popular and as easy to do. Like it can be called as classed as cold DMing, and some people don't like that. More so, commenting and interacting is a better method. So hashtags, righto. This is something that's all over the place, really. You see a lot of like people using hashtags all the time, and they're great. Honestly, like don't get me wrong, I'm not saying don't use them. But they've got to be relevant too. So if you're a motor mechanic shop, you're not going to hashtag building industry, anything related to the like building industry, really. Or you're not going to hashtag anything related to hairdressing. So you keep it relevant to your industry or anything within that. So and you can research the hashtag. So you think of a hashtag, punch it into like the hashtags are bigger for Instagram. That's where they really generated. Facebook, look, a lot of people use them on Facebook. I'm not a big one to use them on Facebook because they're not as big. I don't find and feel that they're as more as effective on Facebook as they are on Instagram. TikTok you can pretty big on hashtags too, but Instagram's still the biggest one with the hashtags. I think LinkedIn do them as well, but I don't think they're as effective. So you can research the hashtags, punch a hashtag in and into Instagram, and you get a feel and see what type of people, or you can see what sort of industry, what it's all about, because you'll see some that are just, you're not sure if they're relevant to what you're trying to get at or not, because there's so many different hashtags out there. So when you start putting one in, most of the time it'll actually auto generate suggestions. So just check them out before you actually start putting the hashtags in. Obviously, where to use use them on Facebook, but Instagram definitely. Now, quantity, that changes. Like, it used to be not long ago, it used to be like you can maximum of 30 at the end of your copy, and then you could put another 30 in in a comment. Now, I've never actually used 60 hashtags in any post. I probably haven't even used 30, to be honest. But some say, look, 14 to 20 is plenty, but just use what you feel is right. And with the hashtags, this is where in your analytics, when you're sort of measuring your content, you can actually see how many the hashtags, whether they've actually reached people or not. It'll show you in your analytics there, especially in Instagram, if they're like followed accounts or hashtags that have actually interacted with your post or seen your post. So that's where you do get a gauge of how effective they can be and how effective they are. So, all right, analytics. Yes, as I said, it's not as in depth as paid. Like that, it is. Organic is still very, very measurable. It's not as in depth as paid campaigns, but it'll still give you an indication if your content is actually working or not. You might post over a month. You might have, say, certain types of posts might do really well. They might get a lot of interaction, and other posts might not get any. So that's going to give you an indication of what style of post your followers really like, and whether it's actually getting out to people. And if certain types of posts aren't generating any interest, well, that's where you want to stop using them or changing them up. So obviously, recording your stats from month to month are going to give you a good indication. And it'll give you an indication of what style of posts are working, if they are working and growing your following, like record your following, and then at the end of the next month or in a month's time, record your following again. You're going to see if they're actually working, if your page is growing. Because you can look at your number of followers, but you're going to forget that if you haven't got it recorded. You can do lots of different. It'll tell you what hashtags are working and whatnot. It just there's a lot of different things you can do with your measuring your stats, and just keeping a record of it will help you gauge what's working, what's not. And as I said, do it monthly, and use that to reassess your content. Like, as I said, if you're not getting very much interaction on certain posts, change it up or stop using that style of post. So, all right. So this, just a couple of case studies I wanted just to give you examples of, like, from what we've done for some clients, because we've got a few clients that we've done just run organic strategies for, no paid stuff. Now we've got a couple of fitness clients or fitness-based clients. Now, one has increased their brand awareness big time, but another one, we've actually quadrupled program input. Now, they're only small base ones, but they had run a program, and they had a couple of people come in. And then once we started running some organic strategies, and a lot of that was just posting on community groups, Facebook community groups, we actually quadrupled their participants in programs. And they even had some old clients come back because they started seeing them present on social media regularly. So that's the key. Like being consistent will actually eventually, like as I say, organic strategies aren't a quick fix. They are a slower way, but it gets there. People, it resonates. People remember when they see someone and they keep seeing this, like something coming up all the time. They remember that. If they see something coming up as a sponsored post all the time, that's when people get cranky at that and they go, oh, don't, they turn away from that. But if it's just in a general, like in a community group, for example, they remember those things. And then they might be like, someone might be talking and they might be talking to someone, they go, oh yeah, I'm looking for such and such. Does anyone know? And you might go, oh yeah, I remember. I seen this post, blah, 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 blah. And that's how it all gets out. It's all word of mouth still. But it is, and as I said, it is very effective, but it's a slower method, but it's more authentic. It is very authentic. And another client that we've had, it's that we increase their awareness, their brand awareness, and actual inquiries coming through their shop. So it does work. As I said, it is a slower method, but it is it can be very effective. It just meant how much time you want to put into it. And yeah, it comes down to everything like that, how much time you want to put into things. But as I said, the biggest thing is to be yourself, be authentic, because being fake, it stands out a mile away. And people can spot fake a mile away. So always just be yourself and be authentic. And that's what will resonate with people more. And most of all, have fun when you're creating content for your business. So they are the biggest keys that I can put into it. So yeah. Righto. So that's pretty much it for my presentation. I might just stop this recording where share.